In case you haven't noticed, Donald Trump manages to seize the media spotlight, leaving his rivals in a virtual blackout. Reporters can't seem to get enough of Mr. Trump, even as the rest of the Republican field struggles to get coverage. But the Trump phenomenon could have an expiration date. Here is Larry Sabato yesterday on Happening Now.
Trump is irresistible to us, the media and the punditocracy. You can't take your eyes away from the screen when he's on, or even if he's just on the telephone, because you never know what he's going to say. You never know what's coming next. But because of that, he has dominated the landscape to the point where the other candidates have a hard time getting heard. That's going to change as the voting starts.
Going to change as the voting starts. Let's bring in our media panel. Judith Miller, a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and Fox News contributor. Lynn Sweet is Washington bureau chief for the Chicago Sun-Times. Is there oxygen in Washington for any candidate not named Trump, Lynn?
Not a lot of it. But one thing I don't understand for my brothers and sisters who get all these very long, almost unending interviews with Trump is, why don't they ask more real questions? Okay, just down the block from where I'm sitting is the Capitol, and there's a mighty fight just to make sure government stays open with a spending bill that is in play right now. I didn't hear questions even about that. So I think the phenomenon is going to continue, but can reporters at least start asking more questions when they have them on these unending series of availabilities?
Well, first of all, Judy, what do you think about Larry Sabato's premise that once the voting starts and some of the candidates perhaps start falling by the wayside, that Donald Trump's numbers are going to fall as well?
Well, yes, and you know, there is gravity, and the sun does not revolve around the earth, though who knows if Donald Trump believes that. I've said this is going to happen a long time ago. You know, I predicted that after Donald Trump attacked Megyn Kelly and attacked John McCain and called women pigs and all of the other things he said, that his ratings would fall and the media would tire of him. The ratings haven't fallen. The media have not tired of him. And Lynn, I think the reason that we don't ask Donald Trump tough questions is that he doesn't answer them. He just says, I'll fix that. I'm going to make America great again. Well, I don't know when this happens. There has to be a tipping point, but it hasn't happened yet. And perhaps until some of these other Republican candidates are out of the field, it may not happen.
Even negative coverage is a boon to Trump, most observers say, Lynn. I mean, Tom Brokaw came out and bashed his Muslim plan, and it doesn't seem to have affected his numbers at all.
Well, there is one day that will be important, and or one number, and it will be the number he comes out of the February 1st Iowa caucus. So there is a date where the real poll, as they say, is the poll on Election Day. So he is a master at just making his stump speech his poll numbers. That's part of the phenomenon that we're looking at. If he can't deliver results, that will be a real turning point, not a rhetorical one. And until then, the thing I just think for the media, sure, have him on. He's the front runner. Give him his due. But you can't just accept that you can't ask questions because you think he's going to filibuster or provide the same answer. I think there may be a way of at least trying more to bring up different subjects. Just at least try.
There's a Democratic pollster quoted in the Washington Post this morning, Judy, who said this: Donald Trump has been the most successful candidate in driving the dialogue and defining the stakes since Ronald Reagan in 1980. The party elite fears him, the public is transfixed by him, and the core Trump voter reveres him. The Trump candidacy has defied political logic and the gravity of civil discourse. That from Peter D. Hart, a Democratic pollster who's been watching, crunching the numbers on Trump.
Absolutely true, John. And you know, the other thing about Trump is that he has redefined the political discourse in this way, too. We are not talking about gun control after the San Bernardino attacks. No one is. They are really, I mean, Bernie Sanders is still talking about income inequality in America, but everybody else is now talking about Donald Trump's Muslim ban proposal. He has a way of ensuring that the dialogue and the media discourse absolutely revolves around him and whatever he happens to be saying at the moment.
All right, Judy Miller and Lynn Sweet. Good discussion. We'll see what happens, whether Larry Sabato's predictions prove true. Thank you both.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.